Hendrix was very good, but there'll never be another one like him, and it would be a pity to try.
Prince wasn't just a showman with flashy outfits and unforgettable hits. He was one of the greatest guitarists to ever hold the instrument.
This is it. Time for you to go to the wild.
His style was wild, emotional, and unpredictable. But what really set him apart was the way he blended rock, funk, soul, and pop like no one else.
All along the watchtower, Prince was kept in view.
And even though Prince had his own distinct sound, he deeply admired other guitar legends. In a rare moment, he opened up about the players who inspired him the most. Some of the names make perfect sense. Others might surprise you. So, who did Prince consider the greatest? Let's find out, starting with the most famous guitar god of them all, Jimi Hendrix. Prince and Jimi Hendrix are often mentioned in the same breath, and it's easy to see why. They were both black guitarists who broke all the rules, blended genres, and lit up the stage with raw energy and style. They didn't just play the guitar, they made it scream, sing, and cry. But despite the constant comparisons, Prince didn't really like being put in Hendrix's shadow. Jimi exploded onto the scene in the late 60s with sounds the world had never heard: distortion, feedback, wild improvisation. He changed rock music forever. Prince came a decade later, carving his own path through the 80s and beyond, fusing funk, R&B, pop, and rock with a smoother touch. Prince respected Hendrix, no doubt. He even called him very good. But he also made it clear Hendrix wasn't his main influence. Hendrix played more blues. Prince once said, "Santana played prettier." That one line says a lot about how Prince thought about guitar playing. While Hendrix was all about fire and chaos, Prince aimed for beauty, clarity, and emotional precision. In songs like Purple Rain, Prince poured his soul into every note, focusing more on feeling and melody than wild solos. He wasn't trying to copy Hendrix, he was building something entirely his own. Still, Hendrix's influence on the guitar world was impossible to ignore, and whether Prince wanted it or not, the comparisons never fully went away. Carlos Santana. If Hendrix was fire, Santana was warmth. Smooth, melodic, and soulful. That's what Prince loved about Carlos Santana. Of all the guitarists out there, Santana's style was the one Prince felt most connected to. That prettier sound he talked about, Santana had it in spades. Carlos Santana brought Latin flavor to rock, with flowing solos and emotional phrasing that made his guitar sing. It wasn't about showing off. It was about telling a story with every note. That kind of elegance deeply resonated with Prince. He wanted his guitar to move people, not just dazzle them. When you listen to Prince's solos, especially in tracks like Purple Rain or The Beautiful Ones, you can hear that influence. Every note is intentional. Every phrase carries feeling. Like Santana, Prince believed that melody mattered more than flash. Prince didn't just admire Santana's playing, he admired his spirit. Both artists pushed boundaries, crossed genres, and refused to be boxed in. And while Prince had the chops to shred, he often chose a more refined, emotional approach, one that echoed Santana's legacy more than anyone else's. Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page, the legendary guitarist of Led Zeppelin, was a massive force in shaping the sound of modern rock, and Prince absolutely took notice. Page didn't just play guitar, he orchestrated it. With his layered riffs, mystical tones, and fearless experimentation, he turned each Led Zeppelin track into something larger than life. Prince admired Page's ability to blend chaos with control. Whether it was the thunderous riff of Whole Lotta Love or the haunting build-up in Stairway to Heaven, Page knew how to make the guitar tell a story. That cinematic quality, the drama, the dynamic shifts, the unexpected turns, was something Prince would later explore in his own music. Both men loved the studio. Page was famous for stacking guitar parts and trying unconventional mic setups. Prince, too, was a studio wizard, often working alone for days to get a sound just right. While their styles were different, Page more blues rock and Prince more funk pop, they shared a commitment to sonic adventure. Live, Page played with abandon, letting solos evolve in the moment. Prince took that idea and filtered it through his own lens, often turning live performances into sprawling, emotional journeys. He never copied Page, but he clearly respected the way Paige elevated guitar, playing into something mythic. B.B. King. B.B. King wasn't just a blues legend, he was the blues. And to Prince, his playing was a masterclass in soul, restraint, and emotional clarity. While many guitarists chased speed and flash, B.B. proved that one single bend, perfectly timed, could say more than 1,000 notes. Prince took that lesson to heart. There's a purity in B.B.'s tone. He didn't hide behind effects or tricks, just his signature vibrato and that sweet, singing sound of his beloved guitar, Lucille. Prince admired that honesty. You can hear echoes of B.B.'s influence in the slow, aching solos of Purple Rain, or Sometimes It Snows in April, moments where Prince put down the flash and let the feeling do the talking. But it wasn't just about the notes. B.B. was a storyteller. Every lick was a sentence, every solo a conversation. That sense of phrasing, of giving each note space to breathe, helped Prince craft solos that felt alive, human, and deeply personal. B.B. King once said, "The beautiful thing about learning is nobody can take it away from you." Prince lived by that. He absorbed the lessons from masters like B.B., then transformed them into something all his own. Blues was in Prince's blood, not always obvious, but always there, shaping the way he made people feel with a guitar in his hands. Robin Trower. Now here's a name that might surprise some people, Robin Trower. Not as instantly famous as Hendrix or Santana, but to Prince, Trower's guitar work was pure magic. Robin was the lead guitarist for Procol Harum before breaking out on his own in the 70s. His sound, bluesy, moody, and soaked in emotion. It wasn't about playing fast. It was about feeling every note. Trower's most iconic album, Bridge of Sighs, became a cult classic among guitar lovers. It was full of haunting solos, deep grooves, and rich, expressive playing that painted vivid pictures with sound. And Prince, he took notice. He didn't just listen to the hits. He studied the tone, the phrasing, the atmosphere Trower created. It's easy to hear Trower's influence in some of Prince's slower, more emotional tracks. That same smoky, late-night vibe, that slow burn that builds up and hits you right in the chest. Trower taught Prince that you don't need to shout to be heard. Sometimes the softest solo can cut the deepest. Prince often gravitated toward guitarists who could make their instruments cry, whisper, and sigh, and Robin Trower was a master of that. It wasn't about technical fireworks. It was about mood, space, and soul. And that's exactly what Prince brought into his own playing time and time again. Mark Farner. Mark Farner, best known as the fiery frontman of Grand Funk Railroad, wasn't just a hard rock icon. He was a major source of inspiration for Prince. Farner's guitar work was raw, loud, and full of emotion. He played with the kind of reckless energy that made every performance feel like a thunderstorm, and Prince paid close attention. Farner had a no-nonsense style, gritty riffs, soulful vocals, and an aggressive, blues-soaked tone that didn't need polish to hit hard. Prince connected with that. He took that rawness and molded it into something his own. You can hear echoes of Farner in songs like Let's Go Crazy and Bambi, where Prince lets his guitar off the leash and turns up the intensity. But it wasn't just about sound, it was about presence. Farner led his band with his whole body. He was loud, proud, and magnetic. Prince saw the power of that kind of leadership, being the voice, the guitarist, the energy. Like Farner, he wasn't afraid to let emotion lead the way, on stage or in the studio. Mark Farner showed Prince that guitar playing didn't have to be perfect to be powerful. It had to be real. And for Prince, real always mattered more. Sonny Thompson. Among all the names Prince ever mentioned, Sonny T might be the most meaningful. He wasn't just an influence from afar. He was from Prince's own Minneapolis music scene, someone Prince learned from up close. A legendary bassist known for his thick grooves and rhythm-first playing, Sonny left a permanent mark on how Prince approached the guitar. Prince once said, "Sonny was my hero. A lot of what I do on guitar I learned from him." That says it all. While most lead guitarists focused on solos, Sonny's style was rooted in rhythm, in funk, and feel. Prince took that and made it part of his DNA. His signature style, muted strums, percussive riffs, guitar parts that moved like drums, came straight from what Sonny laid down on bass. You can hear this especially in tracks like Kiss, where the guitar isn't just decoration, it's the engine. Prince made the guitar groove, and that rhythmic instinct came from watching Sonny. He even brought him into the new power generation in the early 90s, making him a core part of his sound. Their chemistry on stage was electric, funk-driven, tight, and full of swagger. Sonny didn't need to be flashy. His playing was cool, locked in, and confident. Prince mirrored that in his own way, blending that influence into something uniquely his. Even Prince's stage presence, how he stood, how he held his guitar, echoed Sonny's unshakable confidence. To Prince, Sonny wasn't just a great musician. He was the blueprint. Stevie Ray Vaughn. Stevie Ray Vaughn was a force of nature, a Texas bluesman with lightning in his fingers and fire in his soul. And while his sound was rooted deep in the blues, his influence reached far beyond. Prince, always one to appreciate raw talent and emotional intensity, had a deep respect for Stevie's playing. What made Stevie special wasn't just his speed or technique. It was the way he poured himself into every single note. When Stevie played, you felt it. His solos were like emotional roller coasters, full of power, grit, and heartbreak. Tracks like Pride and Joy and Lenny weren't just songs. They were stories told through strings and sweat. Prince admired that level of authenticity. While his own playing leaned more toward funk and melody, he couldn't ignore the soul in Stevie's blues. In fact, there were moments in Prince's performances, especially live, when he tapped into that same kind of intensity. The kind where you close your eyes, bend a note, and let your heart do the talking. Stevie was also a tone chaser, constantly tweaking his setup to get that perfect sound. Prince could relate. He was a perfectionist too, always experimenting in the studio, always chasing something new. Stevie's dedication to his craft, his fearless playing style, and his deep emotional connection to the guitar made him someone Prince couldn't help but admire. It wasn't about genre. It was about passion. And Stevie Ray Vaughn had it in buckets.